are some things in life that are a little unclear, maybe even cryptic at times, whether on purpose or not. And that will often lead to more questions and maybe misinterpretation of certain things, such as Bible verses and the like. But one thing that is abundantly clear, that is deficit spending at an alarming rate, which leads to a higher national debt to the tune of $33.91 trillion now. In about a week and a half, we're going to cross over into $34 trillion. We're going to get there before the end of the year. Mark my words on that. We're also going to see the interest on the debt continue to rise. We're going to probably get to $700 billion here very soon at the rate we're going. And it's going to get closer to $1 trillion in debt. But when it's all said and done, the U.S. total debt is a lot larger. Many people feel it's even twice this number that you're looking at on your screen right now. It's insane. And a lot of this could, and should be prevented. But the problem is that would require restraints on our politicians. But many people have prophesied about this, and that's what this secret window is about. From the U.S. debt clock people, this series continues on my channel as I cover the secrets of the debt clock, and this one is about a cryptic prophecy that has begun to be revealed as what it could be from Nostradamus. So Nostradamus is being asked here, did any of your quatrains refer to the modern world? He says, many, many. I wrote them to warn you about the future. Then he's asked, I know, it's just that they are hard to interpret. Can you give me a new one that I can understand? So he obliges. Quatrain 666. From the new land comes madness by decree. The dark state congeals. That does sound ominous. It sounds like it could be in a metal song too. Then the next question is, does this mean America and its war on sanity? And then in Quatrain 10-33, the empire cracks, the money deflates, and the guilty conceal. Boy, this does sound exactly what's going on right here in America today. As is stated by the questioner, I'm sure of it. You mean America right here and now. Seems pretty clear. By the way, there's many Bible verses, especially in Revelation, that are leaning more towards this type of thing happening too. It's insane. So then the next question is there any hope for the future? Quatrain 888. 888, as opposed to 666, which is considered the number of the beast, right? And pretty bad. 888 in Eastern cultures, especially China, is a number of great fortune. And Quatrain 888 says, the nation will heal when all will kneel. The kingdom restored with a new money as a reward. Yes, indeed. And he shows the fish there. I guess it means, prophesying that what happens is when all will kneel, the kingdom will be restored with new money as a reward. What is that new money? Well, maybe it's a money with a little bit of constraints to it. Money that is sound, probably gold, probably silver. Nonetheless, limitations on what the people in power can do, and maybe a little bit more freedom for the people who pay their salaries. We shall see. An interesting message from the folks at the debt clock and this cryptic prophecy that has become and been made clear. So fascinating indeed. Now, as we type and look through these messages, which expire when the next one comes on board, we continue to cover it on this channel. I have a whole playlist of these. If you haven't seen the others, I hope you will consider checking it out. But nonetheless, these numbers are alarming, and they tick away. And there's lessons we can take from these messages sent to us by the debt clock people. Some of them more controversial than others. Some of the interpretations of them I may get right. Others of them I may miss the mark. Some aspects of it. Some of them refer to things that I'm not as familiar. But I try my best to kind of bring this stuff to you. But, it's amazing. And this little image here, I love how they use certain graphics to showcase things about the world and about what's going on in the world. You have this with with the modern world, with the flight and technology, that basically we are a global economy to an extent. And in the modern world where information can spread across the world in a matter of minutes, seconds, really, even in some cases. And America is a very puzzling place right now in this second little image here. I think that's kind of fascinating to see that as well, too. And then we look down and we can see why America, it's war on sanity. As once said by the governor of Arkansas, it's not necessarily a matter between, two political parties, Democrat or Republican or liberal and conservative. It's really about the crazy and the normal. And that is a difference. That is the kind of world we live in nowadays. And it's too bad. We've become divided. And sadly, there's a lot of people who have been really propagandized. I'll say it, brainwashed to believe that the government, it really is there to help. We had an individual recently associated with the government who quoted Ronald Reagan and said, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." When in reality, he missed what Reagan said just before saying that phrase. 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." Because government is not the solution. No, indeed, government is the problem. And I'm not anti-government per se, but I think it's at best a necessary evil. So when you take a look at what's going on in government today, and you see that, that government really does create a lot of the problems that we have. In fact, government created this, the debt and deficit spending. Why? Because of politicians that we elect. Well, they appropriate these funds for these measures. And it really is a shame. And we voted for these people, even Republicans that have been participating in this. And that's really the problem. And, and the thing is the government creates a problem. And so in order to get a solution, they create yet another problem. And that's exactly what happened during the shutdowns during COVID. So they shut it down. So they had to print more money and send out checks and subsidies and handouts in order to keep people surviving based off of what the problem they created. And so there's where we are at today. And it's really kind of a shame, but that's kind of the mindset that we're living in. So we propagate it. We just perpetuate it. And it goes on until it won't anymore. And that's exactly what's happening in Argentina. So in a sense, is Argentina now operating under Quatrain 888? We shall see. Right now they're cutting, at least the proposal's been put out there, as much as can be done on the executive level in Argentina, as they are cutting a lot of these wasteful government agencies. And good for them, much needed. And that is after triple-digit inflation. We're nowhere near that here. However, certainly it could get there someday, and I think that we should be doing it right now and before it becomes an absolute emergency. Although there's a lot teetering here that could cause a lot of things to collapse fairly quickly if we're not careful. And a lot of people are nervous about this economy. And I think that is something that this cartoon speaks to, as Nostradamus' prediction could come true with these different quatrains. So is there hope in the future? I think there is. And I think this symbol recognizes what we need to do here, because we can do two things. Number one, vote for the most fiscally conservative, less small government candidate that you can find. That's number one. But even before number one, you should pray about that. And number two, pray for the nation. Pray for our leaders, including the ones that are in power right now. So there you have it. So let me know what your thoughts are on this. And again, I hope you will check out some of the other videos as these messages disappear. And have sign up. He sent me some of the older ones, but I may not be able to make a video from those, but I'm going to try sometime this month to be able to compile some of that into a way that I can present it to you in this video. But I think it's fascinating, and it helps at least to expand our knowledge, but also cause us to think a little bit and ask questions and maybe come to some conclusions. So I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch. and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.